Hello everyone and welcome back. So I'm making this special video because in a recent whiskey tasting some robust discussions and, shall I say, debate has come up. We have one side that likes to put water in their whiskey, and we have one side who are purists and say no, whiskey out of the bottle should be it, and they want to kill the other side. And then we have people who put ice in their whiskey, but we don't do that, we're not animals. So, I'm just kidding, you can put ice in your whiskey if you want to be an animal. So, in this case, I wanted to make this video especially because there will be a lot of people out there and they don't understand why we put water in our whiskey. And let me explain. So, water in your whiskey, first I'm going to cover what it does, right? So, when a whiskey has a lot of alcohol, so for example, when you're getting a cask strength whiskey, it's going to be around 55 to even 68, 69%. I've seen whiskies at 69% independently bottled single cask. Look, let's face it, if you have that kind of whiskey and you're not used to it, your tongue may go a little numb and you will stop tasting some things. Now, I've had whiskies at 65% and they tasted better with water, and sometimes it tastes better without water. So for me to say that everyone's going to go numb in the tongue and not taste anything, that's a lie, because if you get used to something, your palate does adjust, okay? It's an acquired taste. Your palate adjusts and the cells in your palate do develop a taste for it, and eventually you will get used to it. So what does water do? Water basically takes the edge off the alcohol and it lets you smell and taste a little bit more of the whiskey sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't. So in my reviews, you've probably seen that I've got 2 glasses every time of the same whiskey. One of them has a few drops of water, the other one has no drops of water. And so I can nose it, taste it, and assess the flavors side by side and tell you the difference in the two. And the difference is massive. So whether you like it with water or without water, that's up to you. But I would suggest is try it first, because when you pour your first dram, sometimes you don't know what that bottle is going to be like. And sometimes when you put a little bit of water in there, in my opinion, it just opens up the whiskey to a completely different new world. But sometimes when you put water in it, it ruins it as well. So I've had whiskeys that I'm like, this is 60%. I put water, I'm like, it just took the complexity out. It just took it all out. It just completely, you know, and this is 1 or 2 drops of water. It makes that much of a difference. So assess it yourself. I suggest that when you pour your first dram, take 2 sips without water. Drop a couple of drops of water, and then take sips again, and you can decide for the rest of the bottle, do I like this with or without water? That's my suggestion. But some people are just vehemently against water, and some people will always put water. So there's always going to be 2 camps. Now, you're probably thinking, what kind of water should I use? So I would recommend putting pure distilled water all the time. They're available in supermarkets, you can order them wherever. By having distilled water, you're putting in pure water. It has not changed the flavor of the whiskey. So you're thinking to yourself, how about tap water? Or how about a nice bottled water? Great, go for that. But if you've got a certain amount of dissolved solids, certain pH, certain hardness or softness in your water, you can actually change the taste of your whiskey dramatically. So if you, let's say, one day you wanted to put Evian in there, if the next day you want to do Antipodes in there, or the next time you wanted to put just some average Nestle water with, you know, spring water, what you'll find is your whiskey experience will be 3 different types. So one day you'll go, this is the best whiskey ever, and the next time you add water in it, you go, this is not as good as I remember. That's because the water parameters and the dissolved solids, hardness, pH, all of that stuff makes a huge difference to the flavor of your whiskey and how it finishes and how the palate goes, how the nose even goes. So I always suggest pure water. Be consistent, pure water, so you know what to expect every time, because that's really what you should be putting in there, pure water. Otherwise you'll have inconsistency. So always pure water. I suggest no spring water or no artesian water or no Fiji water, because then every time you put something in there, something different, you won't even remember what it tastes like, because that whiskey is completely tainted with the dissolved solids. Okay? So I hope that's answered your questions about water and no water. Now, ice. I'm sure a lot of you have read about ice, and some people like to pour a Johnny Walker Black with a couple of ice cubes. Now look, Johnny Walker is a blended malt. Johnny Walker is designed to be a drinking whiskey, so it's designed to be a casual drink You don't have to think about the flavors. This is my opinion. You just drink it and it's pleasant, it's palatable, it's easy to drink. Ice cools down your whiskey too much. If your whiskey's too cold, you probably won't taste most of the flavor in there. So I would say avoid ice, avoid your whiskey going to a really, really hot cabinet, which can ruin it as well. Put drops of water if you want to water it down and tame it down a little bit, okay? Ice for me is a waste. So if I'm going to spend $150 or $250 on a rare bottling of Laphroaig or Glenalgan, putting ice in it will just ruin it. It's just a complete waste. So water or no water is my only two options when it comes to whiskey. So I hope this is a bit informative for you, quite informative for you. Like us on a thumbs up, give us a thumbs up. And any questions, any further questions, please ask us in the comments. Do you put water with your whiskey? Do you prefer with no water? Or do you use ice? And you know, maybe are you going to start trying with no ice now? Just let us know, because it's always fascinating to see where your whiskey journey starts from and where it goes. See you again next time, and thank you for watching.